computational methods. Okay, so this is this work is actually very interesting and is in the interesting field of affective computing, which is a transdisciplinary field between computer science, psychology, culture computing, language and pragmatic studies, and even engineering. Okay, so this is a really interdisciplinary study, very interesting. What we try to do is to come up basically with machines or interfaces that can think with emotion. And basically they try to sense and respond. So this is what we call sense and response system. Okay. And to do this, you know, we need to actually complete the affective computing loop. Okay, so we start with recognition by using some kind of sensors in the machine to try to understand people's emotion, facial expression, voice, gait, gesture. So we use sensors or certain input system to understand, to recognize this expression. And then we use certain algorithm to actually adapt to this. And then once this emotion is actually understood and recognized, the system would try to respond with appropriate emotion. So that actually completes the whole loop. Okay. And what modalities that we use? Modalities are actually input system. Okay, the input that we use to actually try to detect expression. We can use face because face is actually the best tool to emit emotion. Okay, that face is actually the best tool to tell emotions. And so we use facial recognition systems, we use voice recognition system. Another good input is actually voice, gesture or movement, okay? And also gait. Gait is the way that we walk, okay? The pattern of walking. I was explaining earlier that, you know, using gait, you can also know people from different culture. In the Far East, especially in Malaysia and Indonesia, when we walk, we used to drag our feet. That's what we're used to, right? And for the Caucasians, you know, those who are from America, Europe, it's very different. And without knowing who the person is, you can actually tell the culture, you can actually tell the ethnic, you can actually also tell the expression. If someone is walking in a way that they express demotivation, for example, demotivated situation. And also text, and this is what known as sentiment analysis. This is what we do when we try to analyze the sentiments from social media, for example, Facebook, Twitter, and whatnot. It's very difficult now with Facebook. You know, they blocked all kind of data. So we usually take Twitter data. And what domains are these being applied? Where is it applied exactly? So we have, for example, in education, in the domain of education, the interfaces, tutor interfaces, what is known as empathetic tutor or synthetic tutor. So synthetic tutor or virtual tutors, they can be animated tutors. They can also be static tutors like this. So this is one work that we did in my lab before with different virtual tutors from different cultures or different ethnic. So we have a Malay one, we have a Chinese tutor, and we also have an Indian tutor here. And the interesting output from this is that we found out that students are inclined to be more responsive to tutors that are from the same ethnic. So Malay students prefer Malay tutor, and so does the other ethnics. But as for Indian, we did not have a lot of data, so it cannot be really that conclusive. But the pattern is quite, positively correlated with the ethnics. And also, what the tutor does is that when it realizes that the student is frustrated, it actually pops up different type of question in different complexity. For example, if the student is bored, then it tries to give questions that are harder. And if the student is frustrated, then it tries to encourage the students by giving, by showing some empathy through its sentences, and also by changing the complexity of the question. Okay, that is to regulate the student's emotion. And this is another video. I bet that you can't listen to it, but you can actually note the wave length here. Okay, here's the person is actually already yelling. Okay, so this is in a call system. This was actually taken in 2005, but it's still very relevant now. I mean, the problem that we are having in call system are still very relevant, where we call and then the interface happen to be a machine. You know, it picks up, it doesn't understand what they're saying, keep asking us to repeat, and we get frustrated, like this caller here trying to spell her name, and the machine is not understanding and asking her to repeat all the time. At the end, she was yelling and asking for, you know, she wanted to talk to a human. She asked to be transferred to a human. So the thing is, if we are able, if the machine is able to understand people's frustration, for example, in this case, then maybe you know, they can be transferred to a human customer representative rather than being forced talking to a machine representative. Okay, so this is to mitigate frustration. This is one way. This is a work that I've done with my student as well, trying to understand facial emotion or expression, trying to detect facial expression in 3D. Usually facial expression is processed in 2D, but this is done in 3D, which means it includes the movement of the face, and also the movement of the face basically. And this is done in full-blown emotion: anger, happiness, surprise, sadness, fear, disgust, neutral. This is known as the big six emotion. Well, full-blown emotion is not really not really practical in daily interactions with machines, but I will come to that later. If you're interested in any of this publication, you can actually visit my website. Biometrics could also leverage, the field that could also leverage emotion infused machines or emotion infused interfaces, especially in the 5G era. Biometrics is a study where we try to, where we want to know who is who, right? I mean, who is who? If A is A, B is B, you know, before granting them some kind of access. So we also use face as a tool to recognize the person. But in this case, we also added occluded faces and combined with expressive faces. So for example, if someone is covered, if someone is wearing a mask in these COVID times, you know, do you know that the person, like say, Pak Yuda, if you're wearing a mask, would people recognize that it's you, that this is Pak Yuda by looking at your top part of your face? But if you are smiling or if you're in certain emotion, can the machine understand that? Because usually machines are not trained to understand that. They're trained to understand static face. Okay, even if you want to gain some access to a very sensitive area, for example, you show your finger in the camera, you're not supposed to smile, you're not supposed to laugh, you're supposed to stay like that. Even in your passport pictures, right? So you're not supposed to smile. But in this case, the system is able to tell the face, to tell who is who, even if the person is showing some expression and in certain occluded traces. If they are wearing sunglasses, or if they are being covered by wearing burqa or mask or something like that. Okay, and also personality trait prediction. This was one of my most interesting finding actually, where we tried to do sentiment analysis using Facebook data, and we found out that Malaysian women are more neurotic. Now, how did we know that? We use a tool. I forgot the name of the tool actually, it was so long ago. That could actually map personality traits on the fly by looking at the words. So we use certain word mapping from this psychometrics tool. And what we found out is that Malaysian women are more neurotic. I'm sorry, but this is not what I say. This is what this is the finding from the data. Okay, and well, the input is the words and also images. You know, the kind of images that people upload, and the kind of images that people use to show themselves. You know, some people use images that do not show their face, but that shows their back or something like that. From there, we can actually tell whether the personality. This is one of the newest work. Probably you can't see the name. I have the title up here. Sorry. Are you able to see the screen?
Yes.
Sorry.
Very clear.
This is a work in Dr. Sufril Azlan's lab. So he leads this work, and I'm one of the co-researchers. This is on thermal-based emotion recognition, which is less invasive and more seamless. So usually for emotion recognition, you know, you either use the camera that is seamless and less invasive to tell facial expression. But nowadays, facial expression, there's some tricky thing about facial expression is that some people can fake the expression. You know, they can be poker faced, even if they're feeling some emotion, they might not be showing it, or they might be showing totally opposite emotion. But with thermal modeling, with thermal input, you cannot fake your emotion, right? So if you see here, some emotions, different emotions are actually detected in different region of the body through their temperature. Okay, and this is a work done by Darshan, a student of Dr. Sufril, to try to detect the region of interest in the facial area for thermal modeling. So what's interesting about this study is that it's seamless, so it's non-invasive. You know, people won't even realize that. And the temperature variations on the forehead is actually the most interesting part to tell stress, to tell whether you're stressful or not, physical and also mental stress. And the face, nowadays, the facial emotion systems are becoming more efficient. So we do not even need a visible camera to do this. And lastly, there are certain regions in the face, like periorbital area, which is around the area of your eye. So when you have puffy, you know, the puffy eyes area, so that is known as preorbital area, the nose tip, upper lip, and also the cheeks. So these are the region of interest, the most interesting regions to detect thermal for emotion modeling. Well, we are working on stress modeling for now, not other emotions. Okay, this is one also other recent study that I'm doing with my European partners, specifically from Spain and also from Hungary, where we're trying to model trust. So when you look at videos like this, for example, when I play this video, probably you can't hear the video also, but you can see the expression of this person. This is an acted video. This is an actor. Look at it. This is also an open source video. What he's saying is that kids are talking by the door. So this is a very neutral, no emotion led sentence. He's saying it in a joyful expression, and this one, he's saying the same thing, but in a more sad expression. And this is more of a neutral expression. So if you look at these videos, just very short, not even a 3-second video, and probably 1 or 2 seconds, and you do not have any familiarity with this person, that means you do not know the person beforehand, you are not acquainted to the person, and if you have this zero acquainted interaction with this person, you're just watching, not even interaction, how can you rate, what is your perception of this person in terms of trust? How can you rate how much you trust this person? Some of our initial work has shown that only use voice only data, that means they're not looking at the face or expression, only listening to the voice and expression of the voice. we found that people who have more positive emotions are more trusted. Okay, so Pak Yuda, if you're looking at me in a very angry way, I probably don't trust you very much, whatever you say, So that was what the finding, is, and we are still. The study is still ongoing. We also look using non-acted data. That means videos, audio-visual data that is not from acted people, not from actors. All right. So from just natural audio-video data, people are talking, but people who are not politicians, who are not actors, who are not popular, who are not known, and we ask people to look and rate how much they trust these people based on the attractiveness of the face, based on their movement of the gesture, based on their voice quality, based on how they're saying certain things, and probably also based on what is being said. So this study is ongoing. Some of the challenges in emotion modeling some of the challenges to have emotive interfaces are these four things. There are four biggest things that I can think of. There's no one size fits all model for emotion. Emotion are being expressed and detected differently from culture to culture. So if you are an European from Mediterranean countries like Spain, Greece, Portuguese, maybe your way of expressing emotion is very different. Maybe you're more expressive in your gesture. You know how the Italian
Hello, Dr. Sarah. I think we lost Dr. Sarah for a while. I hope the network can be stable again for Dr. Sarah. Oh yeah, she is out for a while. So yeah, we will be waiting for sometimes, waiting her to join back again. Hello, your microphone still in mute.
I'm so sorry that the connection went wonky. So this is part of 5G era in the new normal. Should I share my screen again?
Sure.
Okay. So we stopped here. You can see my screen, yeah?
Yes, already.
So I've explained that there's no one size fits all model. People are different culture to culture in expressing and also detecting emotion. And it's also not person independent, even if you're coming from the same culture. So we cannot, it's very difficult to find a robust feature actually. Robust feature meaning that one feature that can actually become the pattern for emotion as a predictor, as a very, very good predictor that is across board, across the people. So people are different also when they try to express emotion, or the way that they detect emotion, probably different. Maybe you think that I'm joyful right now, but maybe Reka think that I am not, that I'm actually a very stern person. So depending on your background, your education, and everything else, and it's very person dependent. But we are still successful in trying to find robust predictors. I'm not saying that they're not, but we cannot get a perfect detection sometimes, accuracy. And we are moving from full-blown emotion, which is much more easier to be detected, to subtle emotions. Subtle emotions are emotions that are much more softer. You know, when you are interacting with interfaces, machines, you do not go very angry or very sad. You do not cry at in front of your computer or anything like that, trying to show your full-blown emotion. Usually it's very subtle. Subtle emotions could be frustration. It could be tiredness. Tired is also considered as an emotion, especially now in the COVID era. You know, you're in front of the computer all the time. Your screen time has increased. And maybe more, you know, subtle sadness and stuff like that. So the segmentation of this emotion is very vague. It's not very clear. So modeling work is very challenging when it comes to subtle emotion. And sometimes we are still using acted emotion. So we do not use wild data. Wild data means emotion from the wild. That means from real people's data. We are still using, majorly, we are still working with acted emotion because that is a better control environment, control design environment to actually model emotion. But it is always better, of course, to use natural wild data, okay? So that it will be translated to a more natural emotion. All right, so I think we have reached almost to the end. This is something that, you know, I always ask my students or my audience, and something for you to ponder upon. You're often asked to judge without emotions. Jangan beremosi, you know, jangan beremosi semasa yang mahu buat satu-satu penilaian. When you want to do some assessment or something like that, you know, try not to be emotional, try not to have any emotions, you know. But without any emotions, can we actually even have the intelligence to judge? I don't think so. That is for you to answer though. And these are my collaborators, all my collaborators, including also, I did not include the EU collaborators in here, I didn't have the time. If you're interested further in this topic, please kindly visit my website. I mean, I still have a lot of things to update. I also finished my grant, so I couldn't get any new GRA, so it will take some time, but if you're interested, there's some publication, there's some work, there's some demos which you can actually watch. Thank you very much. I would end, and I hope that you've enjoyed the talk. Thank you very much. Back to you, Pak Yuda.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you, Dr. Syahira. Very insightful presentation. I think it's a lot of experience and knowledge for all of us. I hope everyone getting many things from the presentation of Dr. Syahira. And yes, of course, it is 5G era. All of the, I mean, the traffic for analyzing videos maybe took a little bit higher than the 4G era. I think on 5G era, it is at least 1 gigabit per second, or I'm sorry, 10 gigabit per second, something like this. And then by using this traffic, we can analyze, the computer can analyze the face or the video very easily, so it is requires the 5G technology later on also. I think it is good. Later we will keep the question if you guys have any question, maybe, or maybe I will take one question. This is for Camelia. I would like to ask Dr. Syahira, does this technology use passive RFID text as well to monitor the heartbeat or breathe to achieve the purpose of emotional recognition? Thank you and stay safe.
Yeah, that is actually a very good question. Yes, we do use RFID text, but I do not, that is not within my area of work. I think somebody else does it, but not for emotion, but something else. But in general, yes, we do also monitor physiological differences, physiological patterns or data. One physiological pattern that I actually shared was the thermal data, where we try to look at people's temperature that changes, because people cannot lie when with thermal, with temperatures. They can lie with the face, but they cannot lie with thermal. And we are also starting a very interesting study on trying to model bribery or kleptocracy, yeah, bribery, rasuah, by looking at face, there is a plan to look at the face, to look at eye tracking, and also to look at the brain wave or brain data, either fMRI data, EEG data, but that is still under proposal.
Yeah, very nice. Scope of work. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Miss Dr. Shareha. So we will back later if there is any other
yeah,
question.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, everyone. So it is very interesting presentation from Dr. Shareha. I would like to invite the second speaker. She is from Chitkara University, Dr. Neha Tuli. Yeah. Dr. Neha Tuli is actually assistant professor at Chitkara University, Rajpura, Punjab. Yeah. She is already 7 years at the university and become the assistant professor at the research since 2017. Yeah. She has experience assistant professor with a demonstrated history of working in the field of immersive technologies, skilled in augmented reality, virtual reality, PHP, C++, Linux, Windows, and Microsoft Office. She has strong education professional with Tech focus in computer science and engineering. Yeah, you can also later on check on her LinkedIn. Yeah. Also, she has so many research experience and also the publication. I think later on we will have a good insight also from Dr. Nehatuli. Without further ado, please, Dr. Nehatuli, the floor is yours. Wait. Okay. Hello, doctor.
Hello?
Yes, I think I can hear your voice.
Okay.
Already?
Yeah. Am I audible? Nice. Okay.
Yeah,
Can
okay.
I share my screen?
Okay. This is still from Dr. Shareha. Would you
Oh,
mind
sorry.
to, yeah.
Should I? Okay.
Yeah.
Pause share or no? How do I? Because
Yeah.
Stop sharing, right?
Yeah, stop sharing.
There is a pause share and
Should I try sharing? Maybe.
yeah, maybe you can start sharing and then it will automatically, yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, it says you can't start screen while other participants.
Okay.
I
think, Pak Yuda, you have to allow that, no, from you as the administrator or as the host.
Okay. Now you can try, Dr. Neha.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much. Yep.
Okay. Is my screen visible?
Yeah, already, but it is still on the presentation small screen. Okay, nice.
Okay, is it now visible clearly?
Yes.
Okay.
Nice. Sure.
Okay, I'll start. So, good afternoon, everyone. I am Dr. Neha Tuli, Assistant Professor, Chitkara University, Punjab, India. So, today I am going to speak on the topic digital product UI UX design challenges in the 5G era. So, as I've already been introduced so nicely, so I'll just skip this slide. Just adding one point that I'm also the co-founder of a startup known as 6GF Solutions Private Limited. Yeah, we work in providing the AR/VR solutions in the field of medical and education. So currently I'm working in Chitkara University in the lab that is Immersive and Interactive Technologies Lab. with a team of 14 members, including research scholars, PhD scholars, ME scholars, developers, working in the field of entertainment, medical, education, military, gaming, with the technologies and equipment like HTC Vive, Oculus Go, Rift, HoloLens, and Lamprix. So, before discussing the challenges, let us discuss some of the key words like UI, UX, and 5G. So, we have all overheard conversations walking down the hip streets of the world's tech capitals, discussing about the great UX of a product or the poor UI of a website. What actually are these people discussing? Are they talking about the same thing using different terms? So let's know about this. Now, UX design and UX design refers to the user experience design, and UI stands for the user interface design. Both these elements are crucial to a product and work closely together. But despite their professional relationship, the roles themselves are quite different, referring to very different aspects of the product development process and the design discipline. A user interface, or the UI, is the way through which a user interacts with an application or a website. It is, in fact, the point of human-computer interaction and communication in a device. A good user interface is easy to use, intuitive, and efficient. Now, the user experience, or the UX, is how a user interacts with and experiences.
Sorry, Dr. Nea, I cannot hear your voice. Hello?
How they interact and intuitive or clunky and confusing.
Interacting with the app people, the sense that they are efficiently accomplishing the task, or does it feel like a struggle? So these all fall under the category UX. Even these both terms are not new. It's common for people who use app and web. Hello? Am I audible?
Your voice is very small, depending on some audience.
I think I have joined from another.
Now it's okay, I think. Yeah, now it is okay, I think.
You can mute me 1 second.
Okay.
Okay, now is my voice audible?
Yeah, still a little bit very slow. I mean, very little. So how about if you unmute the camera, the one is pointing your camera? Yeah.
Okay. Let's try
this is very nice.
Okay. 1 second. I'm listening my voice back.
Already, yeah. Already clear, I think.
I think you have unmuted. I am listening my voice back, so it's like. Hello.
Yes.
Actually, I don't know why I'm listening to my audio back. Just give me 1 minute.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll be waiting for a while. Dr. Neha maybe cannot hear the voice, yeah, from her earphone. So do you need any other minutes, Dr. Neha? So I would take the opportunity to introduce the Telkom Infra project, if you don't mind. Everything is okay from your side?
Hello, am I audible?
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
Very nice. I think. Yeah.
Um, as I was on the slide, yeah, even one. Okay. Now, even though these both of the terms are not new, it's common for people who use the app and web design software to use these terms interchangeably or sometimes incorrectly. A great product experience starts with a UX followed by UI. So the main difference, if you see, UX includes interaction design, wireframes, prototypes, information architectures, scenarios, whereas the UI includes visual designing, colors, graphic designing, layouts, and typography. So the main difference between them to bear in mind is this. UX design is all about the overall feel of the experience, whereas the UI design is all about how the product interfaces look and function. Now, coming to the major UX design principles that should be kept in mind while designing a better product. First, meet the user's needs. The foremost of all the UX design principles is to focus on users throughout the design process. The term user experience itself makes it clear that your work needs to center on improving your user's experience with your product or service. Thus, you need to learn what users are looking for in your design through user testing or any other methods. It is possible that the design may seem brilliant to you, but remember, you are not the user. So second, having a clear hierarchy. It is easy to take hierarchy for granted, but it is a UX principle that ensures smooth navigation throughout a design. There are two chief hierarchies that you need to be keeping in mind. First comes with the hierarchy that is associated with how content or information is organized throughout the design. For example, when you open a website or an application, you will see the navigation bar that includes all the main sections. This is the primary hierarchy. When you click on it or hover over it, it will take to further subcategories that will take deeper into the application or site. These are called the secondary menus. Keeping it consistent, users expect products to share some similarities with other products they are using regularly. This makes it easy for them to become familiar with the new product without any additional learning cost. It may sound a little bit counterintuitive, but the more familiar your design is to others, the faster users can learn to use it. For example, Twitter and Google Docs, they're using floating action in their interfaces. Next, less is more. The less is more approach emphasizes simplicity, opposing to the cluttered or over-decorative designs. Several celebrated designs have surfaced as a result of this UX design principles, the best example being Apple websites and products. Now, the feedback also matters in a user experience design. Design should be interactive by nature. So, when a user clicks on something, they will need a response from the product to understand that the command has been received. For example, Facebook uses this loading state while waiting for the content. Visual hierarchy, including typography, white spaces, and colors, these are also the points should be kept in mind while designing a better user experience. For example, an online publishing platform, Medium, uses specific typography to make its content more readable. White spaces should also be used efficiently. In addition, colors have a key role in expressing brands and intents. So these should also be kept in mind while designing a nice user interface and user experience. If you see the example of Instagram, it has also shifted from more colors to the less colors to make it more impactful. Now, we live in a wireless world. From the moment you wake up to an alarm on your Google Home to flipping through an ebook before falling asleep, mobile networks free us from all the tethers of landlines and cables. The technology is evolving rapidly nowadays. Each decade, a new generation of cellular technology emerges and offers faster speeds, broader coverage, and better security, the ingredients for the modern technological advancements. One such big change is 5G. 5G is the fifth generation mobile network. Its technology is meant to deliver high data speeds, ultra low latency, more reliability, massive network capacity, increased availability, and a more uniform user experience to the users. It all started with first generation in 1980s that delivered analog voice with the speed up to 2.4 kbps. Then in 1990s, 2G came up with that introduced digital voice and SMS feature and provided speed up to 64 kbps. The third generation in 2000s, it brought mobile data, online shopping, PDA, email, banking with a speed of around 125 kbps. After that, in 2010, the 4G provided faster and better 3G with 100 Mbps speed. Now, 5G has come up. It is a unified mode capable air interface. It has been designed with an extended capacity to enable next generation user experiences, empower new development models, and deliver new services. It is expected to provide around the speed of around 20 Gbps. Now, 5G is designed to do a variety of things that can transform our lives, including giving us faster download speeds, low latency, more capacity, and connectivity for billions of devices, especially in the areas of virtual reality, augmented reality, artificial intelligence, and IoT. Now, some of the sectors that have been affected by 5G, first including manufacturing. Now, 5G has poised to help manufacturing production operations become more flexible and efficient, while also improving safety and lowering the maintenance costs. Some of the use cases include human-to-robot collaboration, digital twins, AR and VR manufacturing. Now, transportation or mobility. 5G will allow improved vehicle-to-vehicle communications, enabling more self-driving car testing. Some of the use cases including airborne taxis, smart traffic control with prioritization, remote vehicle health monitoring. Now, in the healthcare industry, 5G could increase efficiencies and revenue, helping health systems create faster, more efficient networks to keep up with the larger amounts of data involved. In the increased security and speed will allow the users to increasingly make financial transactions instantly on their devices and make remote tellers a possibility. Some of the key use cases in financial services may include being mobile as a digital wallet, digital deposits, digital payments. So these all will become easy with the 5G network. Now retail, the faster speeds of 5G will enable new retail experiences like virtual reality or augmented reality dressing rooms. Now, critical infrastructure like energy and utilities, they will also benefit with 5G technologies. The use cases may include drone monitoring capabilities, smart energy management, electrical vehicles, residential smart meters, and smart street lighting. Now, 5G, it will also bring about new opportunities in the mobile media, mobile advertisements, home broadband, as well as the interactive technologies like VR and AR. Now, as I work in the field of augmented reality and virtual reality from last 7 years, I have seen that with the advent of 5G era, AR/VR technology is being used in providing solutions in almost all the sectors, including education, entertainment, healthcare, and many others. These technologies, they require less expensive, wider network with lower latency to continue developing and reaching widespread adoption as they require massive amounts of data processing. So, I'll just give you a brief introduction about the fields augmented reality and virtual reality and how the challenges have come up using as we are evolving in 5G. So, augmented reality is a technology that superimposes virtual information in the real world, thus enhancing the reality. As you see in the picture, also you can see a furniture or any other 3D object hovered over your real world, showing you in the real world. Now, virtual reality, it immerses the user into a completely virtual environment. Now, 5G is acting as a key enabler for AR VR, as it is providing automotive video streaming, crowded content sharing due to extreme capacity, remote control or tactile internet due to low latency, and 6ToF immersive content. As told by Christopher Tozel, a former senior product designer in the Facebook, he said, designing for AR is quite a challenge, mostly because how immersive and unfamiliar the experience is to people who jump in for the first time. We are used to these technologies in which the experience is contained on a screen. We interact either through the controller like keyboard or mouse or gamepad, and we directly interact with the screen like smartphones or tablets. But with VR, AR, you are the core of the experience and you directly interact with the world around you. Getting people accustomed to this can be a challenge. So some of the challenges, product design challenges that have come up with the 5G era in the field of augmented reality and virtual reality. Now, first, standards are something of a universal language for a software application. It is one of the ways to secure its compatibility and contribution to the overall development of the technology. At this moment, this is the thing that is under construction for augmented reality. The reason is simple because it is a new technology and it is an emerging technology. So that it is still coming to its own both in hardware and software terms, despite being technically around for a while. Now, communicating with interactive affordances. Users don't always understand what is and isn't interactive. We see users trying to interact with everything or missing the items they are supposed to interact with. So how should the UI indicate what is active and what is available for an interaction? So it is being said that the biggest challenge is to create an interface for people to interact with the virtual experience that's as familiar as intuitive as possible, despite being an entirely new paradigm or a medium. Next, selecting an area of focus for interaction. A user needs to be able to indicate which item in the interface they want to start interacting with. A specific challenge within this concerns how the system determines which specific application, window, or a field that should be the main focus within the user interface that can have multiple layers open at once and several interactive panels arranged in the 360-degree space around the user. So up till now, we are using gaze or the raycast, but the smarter and more efficient solutions are still emerging. Text readability is another challenge. Setting text in AR VR presents a brand new design challenges that are not faced by designers on any other platform. Failing to select a right typeface or the font size, text might become difficult to read. It is advised that one should avoid using big text blocks to offer good UX for AR VR design. Now, AR preventing simulator sickness. AR VR in design comes with set of physiological and psychological considerations. VR has the potential to present mismatches between the visual and physical motion cues. This mismatch can result in the user feeling nauseousness, which is known as simulator sickness. So these things should be kept in mind while designing AR VR applications. There is a significant possibility of harming yourself and the surroundings while using AR VR apps due to its nature of the application and lack of attention. For example, we remember all the news about the people hurting themselves while using Pokemon Go. So, well, it's just the tip of an iceberg. So these applications should be designed keeping these things in mind. Next, the mapping between handheld controllers and on-screen action is not always clear. Users, they need to know when they should resort to a controller button press and which of the many buttons they should specifically press. This can be a problem in VR when the controller is not adequately visualized in the 3D virtual environment because the person is wearing the virtual headset and is not able to see what controllers are in his hand, what button he has to press. So they might need to remove the headset in order to find a particular button to press. So that destroys the complete sense of immersion. The orientation of the user with respect to critical UI elements in the 3D space introduces new and previously unseen UX design challenges. Too often, if you have seen, users stuck purely because they are facing the wrong way and the menu is facing the other side or at their backside. How do we indicate which direction the user should face? How do we direct their attention in 3D space? So these are the challenges that come up with virtual reality and augmented reality space. There are times when a user can be cut off from both the actual and virtual reality during moments of transitions between VR experiences. Now, how do we best vary between these worlds? In VR, if you see, the transition often drops you into a bleak, abstract void space when logos are headlocked to your face and you can't look away. You often lack any sense of physical presence and feel sense of proneness. Now, if you see in the real world, if you have to wait 10 seconds while an app loads on your phone, you can always talk to others or look away and talk to someone. But in VR, you are completely immersed in another environment. So you have to figure out what to do with yourself the whole time. Now, most people, they suffer from text neck syndrome as they are used to staring down at their phones for far too long. If this condition is not rectified, it can cause severe damage to the spine as well as your neck. So that same concept applies for augmented reality and virtual reality apps. When designing, one must be mindful of the comfortable range of motions. Users should not feel exhausted after using your product. Now, with 5G coming up into the practice, mobile app developers will face the challenge of creating multiple app versions as some users will be using 5G enabled devices while other devices will be still running on the 2G or 3G 4G networks. So the developers or the designers, they have to come up with different versions for all the generations. Now, last, I would say that in a nutshell, owing to this blazing fast speed, zero network latency, and higher bandwidth, 5G technology will prove to be a game changer in the mobile app development scenario. Not only it will open up a whole new world of possibilities for developers to improve their mobile apps, but also it will emerge as a blessing for users in terms of experience. Thank you. That is all I wanted to say about the design challenges in the 5G era. Thank you so much, everybody, for listening to me patiently.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Nehatuli. It is very nice presentation, yeah, and very nice to hear on how you related the UI UX with the 5G technology as a key enabler, yeah, because yeah, your presentation is very enlightening us on how to face the 5G era with preparing any related to UI UX technology as the feature, which later on becoming the value or benefit fulfilling the demands on multimedia for the user, yeah, such as like immersive media application using ultra high definition AR, VR, live in stadium experience, something like this, yeah, connected haptic suites, 3D holographic display. I think this very nice implementation, yeah, on yeah UI UX implementation on the technology itself, like 5G. Yeah. So I think is there any question from the floor? I want to take maybe one question if it is any. Anyone? Okay. If there is no question, I will go to the next presenter. It is okay, Dr. Neha?
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
Okay. Yeah, we'll be waiting. If there is still any question for you, we will call you back later on. Thank you.
Yes, yes, sir, sure.
Okay, nice. Next, we would like to invite Dr. Nurulisma binti Haji Ismail. She is from the University Malaysia Perlis. She is senior lecturer, experienced senior lecturer with a demonstrated history of working with the research industry, skilled in usability engineering, Internet of Things, human-computer interaction, speak recognition, machine learning, interaction design, and also lecturing. So she has educated in the National University of Malaysia, PhD on human-computer interaction, yeah, voice recognition. Also master in from University Utara Malaysia on computer information science, artificial intelligence, and also University Utara Malaysia bachelor degree and computer information science general. So she has so many experience and in working on her field. I think she has been working at the University of Malaysia for at least 18 years. Is it right, Doctor? Sorry, I will unmute you.
Yes.
Okay.
Quite long.
So yeah, also she is a visiting lecturer at the Georgia State University, Emory University, Georgia Institute of Technology, also University of Georgia, Terry College of Business. I think also you can visit her LinkedIn to get to know more about the profile. And then without further ado, I would like to invite Dr. Nurul Isma to give your presentation. Please, Doctor.
Thank you, Pak Yuda, for the introduction. Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good afternoon. Okay. Today I'm going to share. Let me share my slide first.
It is took for a while.
Yeah. Sorry.
No problem. Yeah, we'll be waiting for you.
Sorry, it's taking for a while.
Still ini waiting ya.
Yeah. Sorry.
Maybe you can try to double click it or try to escape first and then
Okay.
put it on the presentation again. Doctor.
Okay.
still have some problem. Yeah.
Mm. You couldn't see anything yet, right?
Sorry, Doctor?
You couldn't see anything, right? Oh, what's happening now?
It's a blank screen. Maybe if you
Blank
can't
screen.
share it, yeah, if you can't share it, I think I would suggest that you send the power. Okay, now we can see.
Can
Oh,
see, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah. Can okay.
All right. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So this is the title, the topic that I'm going to share with you. The UI UX design for virtual learning in 5G era universal that specifically focusing on the universal design learners. Okay, so these are the contents for my presentation that consists of 9 subtopics as follows. Okay, for the introduction, okay, I would like to take you to look at an instance. Okay, for example, when looking at a thing, okay, of course, we will have an impression towards the things, okay, whether the thing is good or not. And then maybe we can see on the screen also, I did this down view. Okay, the first example, okay, maybe there is an instance that we might think of how to get ketchup out of a glass bottle versus squeezing it from an inverted plastic container. The second example, we might think of how a supermarket organizes their shelves by brand or opposed to a category. And finally, this I think maybe we always have this kind of experience that we think that we ever push a dog, but you're supposed to which you're supposed to pull. Okay, so all of these instances brings you an experience. Then we can state that as consumers of products and apps, okay, we are known as the consumers of user experience. Then how to define further on the user experience? Okay, let's focus on this instance in the software product world. Okay, in the software product world, creating the right user experience design is about improving the user interaction with the product, which is unobstructed and concurrently productive. And this process is very important to produce a product. Okay, it might be it is minimum viable product or revamped product. So the process of designing user experience should meet certain specifications that rely on the background of the user's needs. Okay, but okay, normally user experience is often disregarded while creating a new product or a design. Okay, this kind of perception always the difference between the business and the user experience designer. Normally, the business get wrong about the perception of user experience. They think that user experience is a back-end solution as it is not customer facing. Okay, but it is different to the UX user experience designer. For them, everyone who use the product is a user, and to make a unified and seamless experience is the ultimate intention. Therefore, in order to produce a good product or a design, a good designer must take a look on the design specifications that are based on the user's requirements so that can bring on the optimum experience. So now let's look at the difference of the UI and UX. So what is UI? UI is user interface, and UX is user experience. So now, for what is UX? Okay, according to Nelson Norman, UX or user experience consists of the end user interaction with the company, its services, and its products. Okay, to do the process involves many steps. There are many elements to be considered in order to make up a good experience. That are layout, okay, the visual design, brand, sound, and the interaction flow. Okay, while UI, okay, use the user interface, okay, focus more on the graphics in the interface. For example, concentrates on the colors, the fonts, or essentially the look and feel of the product. Okay, all these factors take care of the entire branding guidelines of each company. Okay, therefore, to make clear, UX design is more about purposely structure, usability, and content. The aim of user experience designer is to design the product that is based on user-oriented than designing an appealing product that is impractical to the user. Considering in today's generation, okay, now let's look on the on the 5G network. Okay, considering in today's generation of consumers, nowadays, they demand products that are appealing, seamless, and convenient. And the consumers also demand a single unified view of data that is accessible and easy to use. Adding to this demand, specification requires a good, a good connectivity to integrate all of the product elements. And now, with the latest connectivity technology, the 5G network will enable connectivity ahead of the capability of the product processes. So these are the advantage of 5G network, okay, which is ultra reliable low latency communication. And with this factor, we'll be able to connect 100 times more device and up to 100 times faster. And based on the study conducted by Pretty 2021, stated that 5G will account for 15% of global mobile connections by year 2025. So, due to this, based on the advantages of 5G network, okay, now the UX designers have started to build competency on carving new and innovative ways on how device will interact with the 5G network. That the future-looking specifications of the prototype design are easily relatable that include the following specifications such as wearables, okay, where the display screens are getting smaller and smarter. And the second, product accessibility, such as handheld device features of tomorrow. And the third, the voice-enabled device to seek and solve how users will explore and navigate features using voice commands. Okay, let's watch this video for a while to understand on how online learning using 5G and digital tools. Okay, can you hear the video?
The voice cannot be here, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You should activate the sharing voice.
Maybe we can just have a look on the video.
A day before classrooms go online in South Korea, education officials are making sure virtual learning will be smooth sailing for thousands of middle and high school students. On Wednesday, education Korea's education authority Secretary's former Minister of Education says it's also a chance for Korea to initiate blended education, which provides online and offline learning.
Learning software that can help students to have personal learning and that knowledge. And at this time, I can tools can reduce the burden of teachers and enable them to provide individual hypertrophy technology and higher order.
The former minister says countries like South Korea could leverage digital tools.
Korea is the first country to introduce IT network and with one users. However, according to recent data, Korea should be a first network indicating meaningful partnership between industry and IT companies and schools. So, these like the key strategy of building financial ecosystem in education.
Cutting-edge solutions in education would also vitalize students from lower income brackets, equality and financial trade. The education industry is lending devices using laptops and smartphones to students with non-existent to facilitate online learning. Xiang and Juice.
Right. This is the latest technology that can improve education for children everywhere and anytime. And this was taken place in Korea during to this pandemic. Okay, based on the video, so it is also now being implemented into this education life over the world. So to relate with the online learning technology, let's focus on the term of universal design for learning. Okay. Before that, what is universal design for learning? Okay. Universal design for learning, okay, is an approach to teaching and learning that gives all students equal opportunity to succeed. And the objective of universal design learning, or UDL, is to use many types of teaching methods to remove any barriers to learning. And it also offers flexibility in the way students assess material and show what they know. With that, this approach keeps students motivated in learning. Okay, this is the guidelines of the UDL, okay, the universal learning. Okay, it is a tool, okay, in the implementation of universal design for learning. And these guidelines offer a set of suggestions that can be applied to any discipline or domain to ensure that all learners can access and participate in meaningful, challenging learning opportunities. Then how to do that? Okay, the following elements should be integrated during the implementation of UDL in teaching and learning so that can give equal access to all of the students. And the elements are engagement, which is to keep students motivated in learning. Representation to keep students be knowledgeable, and the action and expression to keep students respond to the learning. Okay, also the UDL, okay, it helps in the development of content and accessibility of the teaching and learning. Okay, for content, okay, it will rely on the differentiation instructions. For example, when the instructors find that some course materials are inaccessible or ineffective for the learners in the course, they adapt or replace the content. While related to the accessibility of the teaching and learning, the developers are responsible for making sure the layout and functionality of your websites are accessible to all users. And normally the developers, okay, will refer to the WCAG compliance. That is an international set of standards that is used to ensure web accessibility for all users. Okay, therefore, it can be said that design and user experience are two of the most important parts of custom e-learning development. So relates to the user experience design, the proper UX design can engage the learner and help them understand the subject material easily. And the user experience design is about user-centered design that focus on the user's needs. Okay, the user experience design are based on the following design elements. Okay, that are valuable, useful, usable, findable, credible, desirable, and accessible. Okay, to give more clear view of the UI and UX design, I would like to give an example as a use case that support teaching and learning platform. This system is Maxis VCVL that facilitates the visual impact in virtual learning. Okay, the Maxis VCVL is a voice recognition application system for visually impaired. Okay, the development of Maxis VCVL is based on this design. Okay, and this is the framework for the development of Maxis VCVL that consists of 3 phases, okay, which are phase 1 on the analysis system requirement specification, phase 2, the development of Maxis VCVL, and the phase 3 on the evaluation of Maxis VCVL. Okay, let's go through the details for each phases at a glance. Okay, for phase 1, okay, the initial study focused on determining the background of the user. Okay, this phase is also to define a problem faced by the user so that the new system can solve the user's problem. So these are the results of the initial study conducted for the development of Maxis VCVL. This is the results also. Here, from the initial study, we can define the problems statement that faced by the user so that we can guide us to develop this requirement specification for the system. Right, finish on the phase 1. So this is the development of phase 2 that focusing on the process flow of developing the Maxis VCVL system. And this is the model of the development of Maxis VCVL. Okay, in phase 2, okay, there were few sub phases to be undertaken. And before proceeding with the few sub phases, result of phase 1 is integrated to the phase 2, which is the development phase. This is the process flow of the initial planning stage. Okay, it consists of the planning to define the background of the user's needs. Okay, then for this is the first sub phase, okay, which is the analysis requirement specification, and this is the process flow to analyze the requirement specification of the user. Okay, right. This is the second subphase, which is the design stage. Okay, at this stage, okay, the design process flow will rely on the requirement specification defined at the first subphase. And as you can see, this is the process flow. Next, this is the third subphase, which is the development stage. At this stage, there are many modules has been developed. It's about 6 modules. Okay, the process flow at this stage relies on many modules as the guidelines to develop the complete Maxis VCVL. So this is the model. As you can see here, it is the interaction model. And then next is about the process flow of the modules. Okay. These are the modules that have been mentioned just now: speech browser, braille pad, embosser, marking, and document management. Okay, this is the structure that, of voice command that being integrated in the Maxis VCVL. Right. this is the fourth subphase, okay, which is the implementation. Which is the this is still under the development. Okay. Here, this one on the implementation and integration subphase. Okay, at this stage, all the developed modules is implemented and integrated. Okay, so this is the, as you can see, when the module is being integrated to be the complete Maxis CVL that can facilitate the visual impact. Okay, after the implementation integration, we will proceed with the fifth subphase, which is the evaluation phase. At this stage, the developed system is evaluated with two types of evaluation method, okay, which are the formative evaluation, which is the acceptance test, and also the summative evaluation, the usability testing. Okay, the evaluation, okay, has been conducted with the user and the expert. Okay, results from this stage can show the usability rate of the system. So this is the process flow for the evaluation. Okay, this is the user interface, and this is the flow. So, and this is the results, okay, based on the usability testing conducted. Okay, and this. Okay. Right. That's all about the details of a use case that include the user interface design and the user experience design. Okay, with a good UI and UX design, it gives impact to the universal design for learning. Okay, to understand what is the significance of universal design, okay, let's look at the following example. Okay, as stated here, even if you are not familiar with the term universal design, you have likely encountered it in your everyday life. Common examples include automatic doors and dictation tools on smartphones. Okay, these designs help people with disabilities, but other people may also want to use them. Okay, for example, okay, closed captioning is often used in noisy places like restaurants and airports to help everyone follow what's being said on TV. And related to the Universal Design for Learning or UDL, it helps build in more ways a diverse group of learners can access information and show what they know. So this is the significance of UDL. Okay, the significance is it eliminates barriers in the design of the learning environment to make the curriculum accessible for all. And these values is connected to the following impacts. Okay, which are the engage in students' education, learning in greater breadth and depth, achieving at higher levels, and motivated to continue learning. Okay, we can say, okay, so we can say that design and user experience are two of the most important parts of custom e-learning development. Okay, we can see that the proper user experience design can engage the learner and help them understand subject matter easily, and also with the good lesson design will make it easier to understand and give the learner the information they need. Now, to relate, okay, finally, to relate with the significance of the integration of 5G and UI and UX for learning can be referred to the 5G network capabilities. Okay, with its extremely low latency rate, 5G allows educational delivery to be faster, more reliable, and smoother. These are the significance of the integration of 5G and UI and UX for learning. Okay, that are improved interaction between teachers and learners and collaboration among peers, accelerated quality and adoption of immersive learning, personalized learning experience, boosted on-the-go learning, and finally level the playing field. Right. With that, I end my presentation. Thank you.
Okay, Dr. Nurul Isma, thank you so much for your presentation. It is very interesting. Yeah, I think this is very, very deeply research, yeah, doing the research focusing on how the UI UX, yeah, improve the ability to learn something like this. Also relating with the 5G era, yeah, to engage the student education, learning in the greater breadth and depth, also achieving at higher level, also motivated to continue learning. So this is the point of I think which is highlighted in your presentation. Thank you very much, Doctor. It is such a nice material for us. So I welcome everyone who has any question to our speakers. Please mention or chat your question to chat features in our Zoom. Yeah, basically I do have the question from our Sehu Ali, yeah, before. I think it is going to Miss Shahira about what can you say about AI bias with machine emotion, something like that.
What was the question again?
What can you say? Yeah.
Huh?
What can you say about AI bias with machine emotions?
AI bias?
Yeah,
with
AI
machine
bias.
emotion?
Yeah.
But I would, what does the questioner mean by AI bias with machine emotion? Maybe the person can.
Yeah. Well, would you mind to give some
Maybe
question?
can rephrase the question.
Oh, this is the question. I think. Wait, I will. Is this the question? So what can you say about AI bias with machine emotions?
Yeah, but maybe the person can rephrase the question.
Yeah, sure. It is a little bit confusing.
Yeah.
Well, would you mind to?
I think you have to allow.
I need to open. Yeah, allow.
Yeah, the mic.
Okay. Already. It is difficult.
Are you there, Awad?
Okay. Yeah, we'll be waiting for a while. If there is any question to Dr. Nurul Isma or Dr. Neha or also Dr. Shahira, please, we'll be waiting for you guys. Okay, so maybe maybe I think it is hello, yeah, Awal.
Yeah, hello.
Yes, yes.
Sorry, I went and prayed. I don't know. Yeah, if one requests that if you can be able to make the presentation slide available for us. And then the second question is I asked questions regarding the Dr. Shaira's presentation with biases in AI with regards to this her presentation. I don't know how she can be able to share more light on that issue. AI bias.
But what do you mean by AI bias? Can you rephrase your question?
Okay. In artificial intelligence, we have biases in terms of gender, in terms of race, in terms of so many other things. So I don't know if the machine could be able to do that to avoid issue of race and some other things.
Okay, I understand now.
Yeah,
So yes, when you talk about AI bias, I think you really mean about the features or the the availability of very huge variance or features, right? So yeah, we do have, we do actually sometimes, we do in certain such studies, we do collect certain user studies. We do collect this kind of information like age, background, religion even sometimes, and all this psychometric information. So we usually will combine with both objective, qualitative and quantitative information, and we try to objectify the qualitative information so that it, everything becomes into a machine readable form. But of course, machine will never be able to become as smart as human beings in terms of emotion, if you ask me, because we process a lot of information and the combination of all the predictors, combination of all of input before we actually decide, before we perceive people on the fly, right? So of course, we try to make machines to be like that, but it will never be as close as that, I think. And for as long as we use it in certain domain, like medical domain, or for example, in education domain, and we try to have a better interaction, I think that would be good enough in this, when you look at technological advancement perspective. But of course, there will always be a bias. I mean, you cannot get 100% accuracy when it comes to prediction.
I hope that answered your question.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
That's actually an interesting study. Maybe I could add a bit.
Yeah. It's a good area in AI, and in fact, so many research has been going on, especially in Google, with regards to bias, AI bias. That's machine.
Yes.
So
yeah. The bias will always be there, even with human interaction. In human interaction, we have biases.
yes.
We have our bias. So if we have those bias, you can imagine what if you try to translate this or map it into machine, they would have even more bias because they're not able to map things as perfectly as we do, or try to process information as best as we can, Well, there was this interesting study back then, I think in the US, where they tried to, it was actually reported in a book as pair in culture computing. There was this study on medical agents, virtual agents, and they tried to change the agents in having different features. Like one agent is white and has a blonde hair, and the other agent has curly hair and black complexion. I mean dark complexion, to represent Black Americans, for example. And they found out that patients have more trust with the white agent compared to the Black agent. So if human beings have this sort of bias, I do not know what you mean exactly by bias, but I can understand if this is what you mean by bias. There's also technical bias, but these are the social bias that I'm talking about. So if they try to collect all this information, right, and then what they would do is to have people to trust more in that culture. For example, they probably would have more white agents built, and to integrate all these features that they have studied, that they have investigated, rather than having a Black agent. So this is what, this is how the studies contribute to real life. Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you.
Yeah. So any other question? Yeah. To Dr. Neha or Dr. Nurulisma is welcome. Okay, so if it is there is no any question, I would like to take this opportunity to invite the distinguished speaker also to join the research on our community lab. So basically, I responsible for the running of the TIP community lab at the Tel-U University. So I will try to explain a bit. Also for all of you guys, researcher, lecturer from other university, also welcome to join. So basically, we would like to have a region community research on 5G. Yeah, yes, as we know, 5G later on will be demanding at the region. Now, the IP Telecom Infra Project as non-profit organization from Facebook try to engage the community region to have to deploy the next 5G telecom area, 5G era. So they introduce equipment, also introduce many programs. Yeah. Based on that, a bit introduction about the TIP. It is a global community of companies and organizations working together to accelerate the development and deployment of technology solution, that deliver the high quality connectivity the world needs. So actually, it is related with the community. What are the community itself? It is basically the service providers here, like satellite providers, ISPs, MNOs, also MSOs, technology partners like established small OEMs, startup research institutes like the university itself, which later on we can collaborate inside. System integrators, this is professional integrators, also connectivity stakeholders, municipalities, enterprise, and also internet companies. Inside of this community, basically we have several program offering, which is like lab trial, R&D, field trial, something like this. Also the startup development, deep learning, deep event, something like this. So basically it is in our university, we are collaborating with the core community inside of the nation. There are Kominfo as a ministry, and then also Bhakti, the network providers, developers, Telkom University, Telkomsel, Indosat. This is the two big, also XL Axiata. This is the three big operator in Indonesia. Three Smartfren, also Net1. Then we are engaging with the vendor, also IMDocs, Altiostar, Baysales, Mavenir, Fire Wireless, etc. So basically, it is start from 2020. It is launching on 17 December. That launched by the Ministry of ICT about our lab. This is the program that I explained before. So the TIP lab is basically in line with the vision and mission of Telkom University. Because we are organizing and developing international standard education. Also, we are having the partners, reputable partners, which is supporting us to internationally recognize. Also, we also later on trying to utilize technology, science, and art. Then also, this is the map. Any other lab, basically, TIP create the lab on the several area. We are the 14th one in the world. So this is basically a 5 years program that we are running from 2020, like open run testing in Telkom Uni Community Lab, operator commercial deployment in rural urban area in Indonesia, specifically building awareness, building local skill and capacity in 4G, 5G, hardware manufacturing, assembly, system integration, also startup. This is the collaboration that we can do later on, including the development of policies, regulation, develop the communication internet penetration access in Indonesia, also the startup and business model development on Open RAN. Yeah. So this is the agenda that we are doing by now. We are doing the trial with the operator. Also, we are doing the internal research, creating the products like smart startup, having the product to handle the trash, also solar power matter, the product development, and also not it is also possible to have collaboration with the University of Science Malaysia, the University of Malaysia Perlis, also Chitkara University, to create a product together, to create a research together, something like this. So we are inviting the researcher also from your university, doctor. Yeah. So this is basically our lab. This is the facility. I take some picture inside. So this is basically this is simulating the real network on telecommunication. Yeah, by now it is 4G, and then we will have another 5G equipment here also. So we can try maybe like Dr. Syahreha try to analyze using the network here, the face recognition, the emotion, something like this. Yeah. So this is what we done. We have also working space. This is the real trial to call and to do some streaming. Yeah, this is the BTS. So basically, we are trying to deploy also the network at the field. I think it is enough. Yeah, from my presentation. Again, I really appreciate. We are really appreciate on behalf of Telkom University. But we would like to thanks to all of the speaker, Dr. Syahira Lebay Lutfi, Dr. Nehatuli, also Dr. Nurul Isma. Thank you so much for your presentation. I will return back to Reka.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Yuda. Okay, I think we have reached at the end of the event. Yeah, once again, we do appreciate to all the speaker for the sharing today. It's such a good sharing for all of us. Thank you so much. For everyone, you can get the certificate by filling this form. The link of the form will be given to you on the chat feature on this Zoom meeting. And then please fill this form to give us your feedback. It's such a valuable response for us. And then last but not least, Telkom University Community Lab TIP invite you to participate in the online training of Open RAN and BTS 4G on Saturday, August 21 and Sunday, August 22, 2021. For more information, please visit our website at https://tip.telkomuniversity.ac.id and subscribe using for your email. So everyone, please open your camera. We can take pictures together. Okay,
Yeah.
Okay, nice to see you all of you. Okay, everyone is ready? For the first page, 1, 2, 3. Second page, 1, 2, 3. Next page, 1, 2, 3. Next page, 1, 2, 3. And the last page, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Thank you so much for all speakers today, Dr. Neha, Dr. Nurulisma, and Dr. Syahera. Thank you for your participant and sharing your precious time to share the details and to roll presentation with us today. I hope we can have another collaboration activity for the next future. especially at the TIP Community Lab at Telkom University. Again, thank you for participating in this webinar. Please stay healthy, stay safe, everyone, and see you in the next webinar.
Stay safe, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you, Dr. Saira, Dr. Neha, and also Dr. Nulisma.
Thank you.